Today in Houston, our brother George Floyd was laid to rest in his hometown, place where he grew up, in the housing projects. I just came from saying Mass with my brother Jesuits, and the gospel today has Jesus saying straight out in a declarative form, "You are the light of the world." He doesn't set up hoops you have to jump through in order to become the light. He says it straight out. That's your truth. You are the light of the world. And so we get to choose in this moment where we stand solidly and declare that Black Lives Matter. We get to choose, all of us, to be a light by which people can see. We get to choose to act on our convictions or to be paralyzed by our fear. We get to choose what energy and spirit from which we will live, a joyful mind and a spacious heart. We get to choose to be our truth in this moment. As Black Lives Matter, we get to choose whether we will be the light of the world. Samuel L. Jackson said yesterday that the water broke and now the labor begins. And so we engage in that labor. We choose to be midwives. We want this new thing, this radical new thing to be born. And we can't afford for it to fail, to thrive. The Buddhists talk about how we need to bring our medicine to what is toxic. The truth of Black Lives Matter is that systemic racism is everywhere. It's a toxin. It permeates. It's not just pointy white hats or guys carrying tiki torches in Charlottesville. It permeates, it's toxic, it's everywhere. It's education and healthcare, and it's in housing, and it's in job opportunities, and it is in the criminal justice system, and it is in immigration. There is no place in our lives where systemic racism isn't pervasive and doesn't permeate. And so our invitation in this moment is to be a light people can see by, to be your truth. All of us have that medicine, that curative thing that we can bring, so bring it. The great Brian Stevenson tells the story of a Black woman who went to this tree, and around it she started to put the soil from around the tree in this huge jar, because she went there because this was a place and a tree where a Black man was lynched in 1931. And as she's digging the soil, she sees a white man in a truck drive by, and then he makes a U-turn and he comes back and he gets out of the truck, and her heart races a little more quickly, and he comes up to her and he says, "What are you doing here?" And she was prepared, I guess, to say, "I'm putting soil in a jar for my garden," but she didn't say that. She said, "On this spot in 1931, a Black man was lynched, and I'm digging this soil to put it in a jar so I can pay homage to his memory." And she hands him a piece of paper that explains all the details of the man lynched there. And the man falls to his knees, and he silently begins to dig up soil along with her and puts it in the jar, and she begins to cry. And he reaches over and he touches her and says, "Are you okay?" And she says, "Yes, I am." And the two of them resume digging with greater vigor. And then she turns and she notices that the white man is now crying himself. And she said, "Are you okay?" And he said, I'm just afraid that, I don't know, maybe my great-grandfather stood on this spot in 1931. We get to choose what we bring to this moment. Which energy, what spirit, a joyful mind, a spacious heart. We each have medicine that we can bring that cures and heals. Bring it. For you are the light of the world. Much love.